Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pod, the only West Ham United post-match football show on the internet. We've just come back from the London Stadium, virtually, where it was West Ham 3, Watford 1. Scott, take us through the starting lineup and tell us what our Premier League team looks like.
Fabianski in goal. Johnson coming in at right back as Fredericks picked up an injury in training. Diop, Ogbonna, Creswell, Soucek, Noble, Rice, Fornells, Antonio and Bowen.
I can't stop smiling for two reasons. We've just beat Watford 3-1 and Nicky's wearing a Pat Butcher coat.
He just needs the earrings.
Yeah. I want to take in the air, but I need some fresh air, but I've got to put a blanket around me. Look,
We got it, Pat.
I've got myself a fur, didn't it?
How we get on, Pat? How we get on, Pat?
I'm over it.
Someone said, what WT? I know we don't really do comments though, but someone said WTF Ryan's had a costume change.
Oh, yeah. I had the new shot on earlier, but Silly Bollock's got a little bit of drink down it, so I had to quickly change. I've only had it a few hours. Can't have nothing
about the game. We come flying out the block. Flying.
Oh, you couldn't have wished for a better start, could you?
Boy, but you know what? That's like the third time, in the Norwich, Newcastle, same time. We both came flying out, and Antonio with a early goal again.
Yeah, he's in fantastic form, isn't he? As we were saying off camera, 7 goals since lockdown. He's been in the form of his life, and he's basically sort of I wouldn't say single-handedly kept us up, but his goals definitely have. I know I'm saying kept us up mathematically. We still can get relegated, but I can't see it unless. If we lose 8-0 on Wednesday to Man United at Old Trafford, I might start panicking a bit. But
thing is, we can be safe by the time we play them, can't we? With the other teams playing. But seven goals since the lockdown ended for Antonio.
I don't remember a time when a fucking striker scored 7 goals for us in a fucking season.
Probably Sacco was the last time he had a run like that. You remember Sacco under Big Sam when he scored in for like 6 or 7, 8 games in a row or something like that. But he's been unbelievable. But the whole team tonight,
top goal scorer in the Premier League, by the way. Let's not forget that. He's the Premier League's top goal scorer since the restart.
I was going to say, Dan. Yeah. There was him in about 5 or 6 joint on 6 goals, and he got the 7th tonight.
We should only count the league from the restart. I think coronavirus has wiped everything slate clean. We should count.
If the league started, we'd be in the top 4 with the form we're on. It was from start. The first half, the way we in a game like this with so much pressure on it, we needed a good start, and 2-0 up after 10 minutes, something like that. Was it? Yeah,
that's it. Perfect start, wasn't it? You couldn't ask to start a game better than the way we did.
No, I expected a long, nervy game, back and forth goals, stress, pressure, and 3 goals.
It's so important that we started like that, because Watford, within like the first 10 seconds, they was nearly through on goal.
And who was it? Was it Danny Welbeck went through?
Welbeck, yeah. They was nearly through on goal, and if a better touch on that, or a touch on it, and it gets shot off on goal, you find yourself 1-0 down after 10 seconds. I think your arsehole's quite flapping.
I'll be honest. I would have been, if that had gone in, we may have struggled to get going again. Because the pressure. I think, I know skipping forward, but the pressure got to us in the second half a bit with them scoring their goal in the second half. So I think that them little things not happening in the first half went our way, and we made the best possible start with regarding the fact that a better touch from Welbeck, we may have been seeing ourselves 1 goal down.
Honestly, I just turned it on. It was the first thing I saw. Sorry,
it's crazy to think that we just beat Watford 3-1 in the reverse fixture. We beat them 3-1, and that was in August. And I'm thinking that's nearly a year ago. It's crazy, isn't it? I can't. I know. Obviously, we're coming up to August, but it's because it's the season. It feels like we're in May or something like that. It's crazy. But
this season feels like we've done 2 seasons.
It's
been so few and far between. And then you've got all these games piling on you day after day after day. It's been difficult for us as content creators. Obviously, it's been difficult for the footballers. It's been difficult for football as a whole. But listen, we'll talk about the game before we go on to other subjects, of course. But, the strike from right. I want to talk about the strike from. No, actually, let's go to the Souček goal. We've talked about Antonio. Let's go to the Souček goal. Brilliant delivery from Bowen, like a pinpoint cross and a brilliant header. Them two, I think, in terms of keeping us in the Premier League as sort of like late signings, I think they've been as important as Hartson and Kitson.
Yeah. I totally agree, mate.
Like Souček. I was laughing last week because someone on TalkSport started talking about him and Lampard in the same sentence. Now, listen, I'm not talking about Lampard as Lampard was a world-class player, but I can see where they're coming from with the late arrivals in the box, the always seeming to be in the right place at the right time. Look, you talked about Antonio, 7 goals. Souček's a defensive midfielder. He should have had 4.
Just quickly going on to Bowen, mate. That's 4 assists in his last 5 games.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's as you said, he's been such an important signing since we got them 2 in January, and I'm looking forward to seeing Bowen now have a full pre-season at West Ham, and sort of start building the team around these sort of players. Bowen's been such a great signing, and Souček as well, massive.
Apparently, he joints first on assists with Bruno Fernandes, who obviously all the media's raving about, and Bowen's not getting so much of the attention, which obviously it don't bother us if our players don't get attention because it keeps them under the radar. I prefer it that way, really. But unbelievable.
And the thing is, when you look at that goal, Souček starts the move. He lays the ball in, and when you watch it back, if you watch back what he does, he lays the ball off, and then the first thing he does before he makes his run forward, he looks to make sure someone's there to cover him to go forward, and he points to Rice and tells Rice to hold because he's going forward. And then, he gets himself into the box. The run was perfectly timed. The ball, that was a pinpoint cross from Bowen. It was an absolutely brilliant cross. And all day long, you fancy him to win that in the air, and he goes on and does.
And that's what we've been crying out for, a midfielder like that, Scott. You can see now that Declan Rice, if he stays next season, which I think he will, Souček and Rice are going to be starting every game for me. And then it's up to Noble whether he plays in there or if we bring someone else in to play alongside them two. But them two, their partnership, as you said there, when Rice goes forward, Souček will sit. When he goes forward, Rice will sit. And they've got such a good understanding.
Yeah, I think
that's it. They're
a lovely little bond there. And,
and that's only going to grow as well.
Yeah, it will grow. I think the professionalism of Souček has rubbed off on the squad because of, the rumours I'm hearing and the rumblings I'm hearing around the club. He's a model professional who gets into training early and leaves. He's one of the last to leave. He, obviously puts in the yards on the football pitch, and they see that where are you going, Scott? You look
I like it when he takes the tour of his house.
Sorry. No, I'm switching. I'm going to switch back over to me Mac now because it's finally updated. So bear with me 1 second.
He literally just walked in a circle.
No, I lost my headphones. Right, I'm coming out of this one.
They've had such a great little little partnership building up, and what it does for Rice is, when you look at our midfield and how we was lacking in midfield. Our creative players didn't score enough goals for a start. Like Lanzini, Fornals, I don't think they've scored enough goals as attacking players. But what it does especially with Noble in there as well, it gives the midfield three a chance to rotate to go forward, and I think that benefits Rice because I think tonight a lot of them haters, them Rice haters, who think he's a crab footballer that gets the ball and goes side to side and can't do anything else, it will make a lot of them sit up and go, oh, he can fucking block a ball. He can get forward and all this sort of thing, because I think that's what's been missing in Rice's game is the trust in someone to think I can go forward and I can trust him that he's going to be there and he's going to stay there and he's going to put it. If I can't get back, he's going to put in the yards for me. And that gives him such a big opportunity to go and show because looking at Declan Rice tonight, the way he struck that ball, I mean, that wasn't a fucking accident. He didn't larrup it and fucking hit an hope. It was a finely placed goal from 20, 25 yards out.
Well, apparently he scored 2 bangers in the warm-up.
But I've seen videos of him before that shows his ability in his passing, shows his ability, but he just hasn't had that license to go forward. Tonight, with Souček in place, you'll start to see a more complete midfielder in Declan Rice. I've got no doubt about it, because everything Declan Rice does and puts his mind to, he achieves. And that is what he is. He's an achiever. With Souček there scoring the goals as well, the goals that can come from the midfield, now we've got to keep holding. We've got to keep
100%. And I think you've got to, as we said on the watch along when I come on, you've got to give a little bit of credit to David Moyes as well with the signings of Souček and Bowen and that. And he seems to be getting. You can see the reaction of the players when Rice scored. He runs straight over to David Moyes. I think they respect David Moyes. They can see that David Moyes is trying to build something. All Moyes needs to do now is sort of get the fans on side as well. Let him. It looks like he is going to be our manager next season. So give him a transfer budget. Let him bring in some players, and who knows? We might not be a team battling at the bottom of the table next season. We might be a team actually mid-table trying to look for that top 8. We have got the players to do it. You look at the bench. We've got so much talent on that bench.
And that's the thing. We've criticised him a lot on here with the tactics when he's got it wrong. And today again, the last few games he's got it bang on.
I'll be honest. I think what impressed me today with David Moyes is when Watford got their goal back and they had a bit of pressure, he didn't think, right, I'm going to chuck Balbuena on and soak it up. He didn't. He chucked on Haller and then Yarmolenko, because he thought Watford are going to go for it, but we can catch them on the attack as well. And look, Haller, apart from a good save from Foster, Haller could have had a great
immediately. When he had first touch, you're right. That would have been unreal. Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's it's positive substitutions instead of negative substitutions.
I think,
and it goes to show with the 11 that we had out. You look at that. We had one what you'd call flair player in the side, and the 10 other players, well, barring the goalkeeper, are workers. Players who are going to get up, get down, work hard. And that's what I think he's got right. He's got the work ethic in the side in the right.
This is why I'm interested to see what he can then do with a full season, transfer window, some money, and then there's no excuse. No one can say he ain't given a chance. He can't say it. And then maybe, hopefully, we can really see him at his best and he can really build the team.
I think deep down, look, no, I can't believe there's any West Ham fans there that want David Moyes to do bad, because we all want West Ham to do well. We don't want to be in this position again. We don't want to be
book bank on that, right? There is some cunts out there, believe me.
Yeah, there probably is, mate. But then, do you really call them supporters when you want your team to lose, just so you can stick 2 fingers up to David Moyes and the board? I want David Moyes to do well. Of course, I do. I want West Ham to win games. But I think we need to give a bit of credit to the back 4 tonight as well. Johnson coming in such a high pressure game. The youngster coming
after not playing for how long?
17 months, I think. Man City away, wasn't it, when he played? And then obviously Diop, Ogbonna. I thought Creswell had a decent game tonight. Getting down, he got caught out a few times, but we expect that with Aaron Creswell. But I thought he played really well tonight. And Ogbonna was solid today. He got man of the match given by Gary Neville, didn't he? I think it was out of him and Rice. I probably would have swayed more towards Declan Rice. Bless you. I would have swayed more towards Declan Rice, but Ogbonna was absolutely solid at the back tonight. And that challenge, when was it Sarr that went through and he lost Ogbonna with his pace, but Ogbonna never give up and he just got back, and that was that's for me, that's like a match-winning tackle, because if they score there, it's a different game.
And he kept his head. He kept his head in that moment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He put some key tackles in today, and so did Rice. There was times when players were through, and both of them players, Bonner and Rice, got back. I'm with you, Rice. I thought Creswell, that's the best game he's had for a while for us today.
And Ben Johnson didn't look out of place. Bearing in mind he hasn't played for so long, he fitted right into that back 4, and he looked more comfortable than what Fredericks does.
The thing is as well with Johnson, and this is what is such a shame about the whole situation. Look, and Gaki ain't signed for anyone yet. You can never be never in football, because he could come back. You know what I mean? But like the shame about it is, right? He said Cresswell he had a good game by his standards, and I think his standards are slipping like massively.
That is an area we really need to invest in next season.
I think the right and left back. I think obviously the Fredericks injury tonight, I think, was a blessing because he's not been brilliant. He's not been good at all actually, and Cresswell hasn't been good at all. And his standards have been slipping over the last few years. And the goals that we have conceded after lockdown, a lot of them have been down to Cresswell or Fredericks not fucking following men, not closing down people, not doing anything really. It's such a shame Ngakia didn't play because I could see Ngakia fitting in. Like any time Ngakia played, he always looked solid. He looked good defensively. He looked good going forward. And Johnson can play left back.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well. So what you're trying to say there is you could have had Ngakia at right back, Ben Johnson at left back, and built a solid back four.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Like just a cool, like young, hungry team, like energy, and you have Rice in there and Bowen, and you bring in some more players, and we've got Dean Garner coming back, and
and the thing is with West Brom today, they could miss out on automatic promotion now. Yeah. And I think even if they do come up, Dean Garner will be back at West Ham next season. I think David Moyes has already identified that he wants him to be part of the team. The squad. So, and the season he's had in the Championship, he's going to come back buzzing in the Championship next season.
He'll definitely be a better player than when he left.
Oh, he will be.
I think there's so much deadwood at the club. You're talking about raising funds and all that. Like, there's so much shit. I'm not, do you know what? I'm not even going to call them shit. I don't think they're shit. Some of them are good.
They just don't fit.
Just do not fit at West Ham at the minute. Do not fit our. It doesn't fit our philosophy. I don't think we've got room for an Anderson in what we're trying to build at this moment in time. And we could easily sell him and use the money to buy, players in positions that we really need. Because I think with even Yarma probably could, I like Yarmolenko, but he spent a long time on the sidelines, and we're not in a position where we can keep on paying players the amount of money we do to sit out, and at Lanzini, Anderson, I would give Haller another season without a fucking shadow of a doubt. I would give him another season. I don't think he's been given a fair crack in the way we've played football this year. It's been totally against his game. Yes, like I was just reading the comment there, Stephen Clark. Does anyone see Noble run past Cresswell? Yeah, he was sprinting back Noble, and Cresswell was jogging. Things like that. I think he could go. I think, looking at, there's players that has already left, like Zabaleta, who I think, his legs have gone. Brilliant professional. Loved him at the club. Always love a player that wears their heart on their sleeve.
But then tweeted out tonight about us, and
then you've got people like fucking the midfielder Carlos Sanchez, like stealing a living. Wilshere stealing a living. You know what I mean? Like at the club. And I think we just need to get...
Sanchez is gone, isn't he?
Sanchez is gone, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's spent 2 years with us, right? Nicked $4 or £5 million off us. It's ridiculous. Like, and, I've been looking at some charts this year. The thing is, we can't keep on going into seasons like this, not knowing relying on teams to be worse. Because let's be fair, if... as well as we've been playing after the first 2 games and the loss against Burnley, it only took the other couple of, I think we was only 1 point ahead at one point. It only took the other teams to pick up a couple of freak results like they did a bit later, and we could have found ourselves in the relegation scrap. And I don't think we would have got out of it because I don't think we would have had the bollocks to get out of it. To be
the one thing I've liked since we've come back from lockdown, maybe not the first 2 games. I think it took us a few. I think it was that Chelsea game that really turned it round for us. But the way we just we don't look like even when Watford were putting on the pressure in the second half. I mean, Troy Deeney got an early goal. We said at half time, if they score in the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, it'll be squeaky bum time. And they did. But I think West Ham sort of soaked up the pressure, and Watford had a lot of the ball, but they weren't doing nothing with it. They couldn't break us down. They had a couple of half chances that flashed across the 6-yard box, but you've got to expect that. Watford are fighting for their lives now. They're 3-0, 3-1 down. There's half hour to go. If they get another goal,
the way they come out. Look, Watford come out all guns blazing. They come out in the second half the way we come out the first.
Pearson fucking lit a fire up there.
And I've been a West Ham fan long enough to see, and especially with the stat of this season that we've, lost more points from winning positions than anyone else. I've seen so many times over the years that, one goes in and we would have fucking collapsed like a deck of cards. And you've got to give, the haters will all be sitting there like last week. We played really well against Norwich, and but it's only Norwich and all of that. Well, this is Watford, who was above us this week. I know not by many points, but in a fucking real scrap, and we've scrapped our way out of it.
Yeah, that's it. We defended a lot better. We showed a lot more character about us. And you see, I know you didn't see it because obviously you were doing the fan cams, but Noble's interview afterwards, Noble's sitting there because he's got the how bad we played in the second half. We defended well, but they said we could have played better. We shouldn't have conceded the goal when we conceded the goal.
That's the mentality we need.
That's it. That's the thing.
You look at their forward line tonight with the midfielder at the post. I forget his name now. It always slips my mind. Deeney, who scored the goal, who scores against us. Danny Welbeck, we know, if he turns up, he's a really good player. I think Sarr had a very good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think Creswell, he was up against Sarr. I thought Sarr would give him a worse time than what Creswell did. And that's why I think Creswell did have a good game because he dealt with him quite well. Johnson up against Welbeck, shows how a good a player Johnson is, because Welbeck on his day, he is a top 6 player.
Yeah,
he's just had a terrible injury record,
and that's why I was saying about giving David Moyes credit for his substitutions. He didn't panic and put on Balbuena straight away. He thought, no, Watford are there for the taking as well. We're going to go for it, and he brought on Haller, and straight away Haller come on. He had that chance where he nearly looked over Foster. Then the next one, he gets out, he wins the header, flicks it onto Antonio. He's just that big presence up front, and that's what a confident Haller with people around him will get you 15 to 20 goals a season in a good team. So if we can start building, make him our main striker, it'll be hard for him because Antonio might think to himself now, I might fancy playing up front next season, because as we said the other day, he has been our Marko Arnautovic from the last time David.
But then why not play them together then? Why not play them together? Because like we've said before, we've seen that Haller thrives off of having someone to play with,
There's loads of different options you can have. You get the right players around them sort of players, and we will score goals. You tighten up the defence and stop leaking as many. We won't be near the bottom. We know. I'm not saying we're too good to be down the bottom because it's proved this season. But with the players and the squad we've got, we should be around mid-table, looking for that top half.
And the thing is, mate,
going back to what Nicky was saying, right, about with players like Anderson and players like that who this is what I'm saying about the flair players. We can't afford to have more than one flair player in the side, right? But when you're saying about Antonio playing up front, putting Antonio playing 2 up top, so long as we find the right winger to play on the left-hand side, we've got Bowen to play on the right, we find that right fit on that left-hand side. There's times in the season where we can go 2 up top and push Haller and Antonio up. And I think with Haller up there, like you said, putting the right players around him, having a beast like Antonio that he is physically and pace-wise, with 2 decent deliveries coming in either side, we're going to there's a lot of teams that will crumble under that pressure of the physical presence from Haller.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see the stats on Haller because I don't think I've ever seen him lose a header. He wins.
I'm sure he's in. If he's not top, he's in the top percentage-wise of the Premier League.
Do you know as well? Another player I'd love to see Fornals given another chance next season and see more of that of Fornals and see what he can do with more time.
He played all right.
You talk about the Souček's running stats. Being number 1 in the Premier League since the restart. Fornals is in the top 5.
Well, he set up Antonio, didn't he, for the first goal? Great. He's another one. He's another one that's I think struggled in the first part of the season to settle into English football. But once he gets a little run in the team, I think he's a good player. It's hard to come from, especially at a young age as well. To come over and settle into the Premier League. But no, I think definitely keep hold of Fornals for next season, 100%.
I'm not saying Fornells has pulled up any trees, but I've seen at times this season enough to show me that he's got enough to be a good quality player. What does he need to work on? Probably, pace, a little bit of pace. He needs to work on his speed a little bit. What you can do in this day and age, I don't know. Decision making, be quicker on the ball. I've seen, especially like January time, January time, he was one of our best players. And when Moyes came in, I think he was very harshly treated, and that knocked his confidence. But he's not been spectacular after restart, but he's been enough to keep Anthony out of the team and make that left wing his own. I think the ball he played tonight was a very good ball. He got a little bit of luck off the defender, but it was the right ball to make, because he's chipping that ball through, he's finding the gap, and if the ball doesn't find a gap, it either comes off the defender and he can't do fuck all about it, or it hits his hand. And he was, that was the right decision to make, and he made the first goal. And when you look at him, he got the blame last week for a goal or something like that, but then he set one up. He set up the cross, didn't he? He played the ball for the cross, and
he puts in the art graft, and that's all you can ask.
I think that's where sort of West Ham fans fall down. Probably we're guilty of it at times. If you don't literally pull up fucking trees, people think you're shit.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's been bad at all. He's just, I think he needs another season or two in the Premier League, and I think he'll be a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. And if we can just get we get the right people out the door in the summer, and as we said, I mean, look, as we're giving a bit of credit out tonight, you've got to give David Moyes credit. He's come in twice to this club and kept us up twice. He's done a job, and that's all he was asked to do. Now, does he deserve a chance? Me personally, I'm still a bit split, but you don't know, do you?
I think unless someone special was available, there's no point in changing. Unless there was someone you really couldn't turn down, we might as well stick with him.
You've got to give him credit, because in a West Ham team that he's come in twice under two very, very difficult circumstances, and especially the way he got slung out the fucking door after the first time. He's come in, sorted it out, and kept it up twice. Did the first time he was here, did I like the football? No, I fucking hated it. Couldn't stand it. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't wait for him to fuck off out the door. But I didn't think we would be going back to him 18 months later and begging him to do it again. And I think last time, I think, when did he come in last time?
Wasn't it like November? Yeah, it was like
November time. That Bilic got sacked in November, didn't he?
Yeah, and he come in off of the back of that sort of season at the Bowling, and we'd had a bit of a shitter at the beginning, and he come in and saved us after that, after all the Payet shit and all of that bollocks. After that happened, and he saved us the season after that. But when you think about earning your crust and earning a chance after the way he got treated, fucking he's coming again. And I actually think, as you say, the signings, if there is signings, they're good signings, and we look better. He's made up for the first lot of signings that were absolute fucking trash, like Evra and Ugill.
Yeah.
I think they were sort of panic signings at the time, weren't they?
I don't think those panic signings. I think Evra was something to cover something that we didn't have, and I think Ugill was signed for Championship football in mind, because I think they was panicking.
I'm sorry, but that was, and I'm going to say allegedly to cover my ass, Ugill was a bung, because we paid 10 million for this geezer who's connected to Moyes' family. Allegedly. That's what I said, allegedly. Alleged. Don't sue me, Moyes.
Yeah, I'm actually quite pleased for David Moyes, and I think the players' reactions today, after the game, during the game, when we're celebrating with David Moyes, I think that shows a lot. And we don't see a lot of things that go on behind closed doors, So maybe the players like him, and if the even the senior players that have been there for a long time, like Ogbonna and Creswell. They seem to really get on with David Moyes. So,
which is funny because there was a lot of talk saying that it was the opposite, and they didn't really rate.
Let's give him a try. And one thing that I liked is that Declan Rice seems to like him. So if maybe that might be a little factor in Declan Rice staying at West Ham, because I could see David Moyes maybe offering him the captain's armband next season, because Mark Noble, it looks like it's going to be his last season next year. So
that's what you got. No, that's what you got out of the relationship between the player and the manager is always good. If we stay up, I think we're not in a position where we're going to be forced to sell him, and it's just on the player. As we've said before, we've got to match his ambition. If we don't match his ambition, then we're not going to keep hold of him.
I'm very interested to see Moyes, because last time we had him, he said if we wasn't in a relegation battle, we could play attacking football. He said I want to play attacking football, but not while we're in a relegation battle. Now, obviously, he's come back with another relegation battle. So I'll be interested to see if he sticks to that when he's got, we start the season fresh. And if he sticks to what he said about this Red Bull model, this RB Leipzig model of young players and all of this sorts of stuff, and bringing in
that. That's the thing now. We know with the financial climate, we don't know what's going to go on. We've got an half-decent crop of youngsters coming through in certain positions, like with Diagana and things like that. We've seen with Chelsea this season, they've had success. I know some of their youngsters are probably a lot better than what we've got, but it could be now a time with the way things are to offload some of the dead wood, to get rid of some of the high earners and bring players in who are hungry and want to play and give these youngsters a chance. And we may benefit from it.
I think next season is the time for Josh Cullen to get a go. I'd like to see that. I think this is the last.
Going to get a go.
Do you know what? I think that ship has sailed with Josh Cullen. I can't really see him breaking into the first team. He's a very talented player, but I don't know. I think that ship sailed for Cullen in the Premier League with West Ham. I really do. I think Championship's his level.
I don't think so much of that. I think the ship, if we had gone down, he would have stayed. I think the fact that it looks like we're going to be staying up, we're paying money for Souček to bring Souček in. If we keep hold of Rice, and then you've got Noble as the third sort of midfielder, you still got Wilshere there as well. He's not going to get picked in front of them.
No, and you've also got something like Connor Coventry was on the bench tonight as well. Yeah, he's another player.
That's it. If we went down, or if Rice goes, then maybe there might be a slight chance for him to get. But he's got to embed himself, and I can't see him getting a run to embed himself into the midfield to impress enough to get a start. Look, I could be wrong. I rate him. I think he's a very, very good young player. But
at least give him pre-season. You know what I mean? If whatever the pre-season looks like.
They gave him pre-season this year, and for some reason they decided Sanchez was a better plan than him. I don't know what planet Pellegrini.
That was Pellegrini, Scott. Maybe David Moyes obviously wants to look at younger players. Every player has a fresh start in pre-season, so all these youngsters come back and they can try to impress David Moyes.
There's a couple that I would like to see given at least spots on the belt. Obviously, we want Grady back. I think Grady's going to be a prominent part of next season, but I want to see spots. I don't want to see the likes of Carlos Sanchez taking up spots on the bench when you've got people like Silva and Holland and people like that playing really well in the youth team. I mean, if you're playing that well in the youth team, especially I think Holland's been really good.
He was brilliant when he went to for the under 23s. He was really good. He'd done his loan spell at Oxford, played really well, and then got that injury. He's ready there, and I think it shows if we've had a bit of faith in the players like Ngakia and Johnson to come in, then we should show a bit of faith in the likes of Holland and Cullen and Diagana and Coventry.
Start bedding them in and give them a little bit of a chance. Like, I don't want to see people like Carlos Sanchez taking up spaces on the bench when you could be given.
That was an absolutely shocking signing. Looking back here, absolutely ridiculous for a club that wants to invest in our youth, and we signed him on however much money. So we can't see that again. Hopefully, Moyes, if they do give him the control over the signings, and Sullivan don't get his fucking mitts involved and want to try and play director of football, we might not see that again.
I think if we're signing a player next season over the age of 30. He has got to be a special player for us to want to be signing. We
want it to be Luka fucking Modric or or someone like that. Otherwise, it's not fucking worth it.
Yeah,
I'd take a 34-year-old David Silva at West Ham.
But that's what I mean.
Maybe Zabba can have a word.
Yeah, if we went and saw, if the opportunity come arise, look, like Carlos Tevez, if the opportunity arises for him to come back to the club, you take him because he's a class player.
He's 36, Scott. The only reason he said I'd only come back to West Ham because he knows we're the only mugs that are paying him a lot of money for him to come back.
A player of that quality.
It depends on his wages.
I'm split on Tevez because I know he scored the goal that kept us out, and I think he takes a bit too much credit for that season because there was a lot of players in that season like Bobby Zamora, James Collins, Rob Green. But the thing is with Tevez, he could not wait to get out the door at West Ham. You know, he couldn't wait to get to Man United. And then he couldn't wait to jump from Man United to Man City. So that was the thing. He was honest when he come because he said he spoke to someone and they said you could go there, become a legend, and it's brilliant to be in the shop window. Scott, he's not a legend at West Ham.
Well, that's it. I'm not saying he is, but that's what I'm saying. That's what he was told. That's what he said when he first signed. They were always we all knew it was a shop window for him. Him and Mascherano, it was a shop window.
Still, he done what he done.
Of course it was, and that's why. Why do you think he's saying at the age of 36? Oh yeah, I want to come back and play in Premier because he knows West Ham would give him over $100,000 a week.
Yeah, but that's it. The point I was making was that's what the sort of players you want to be signing if they're that age of players that are quality. He's a quality player.
Anyway, talking about
he gave us a good season, but
who did?
Tevez.
He didn't even give us a good season, mate. He gave us a good last 10 games.
Look, but you know, it was a special time at the time. We didn't pull up any trees. Don't get me wrong, but like, if he loved West Ham that much, and he said about fans and all that, he could have rejected that move to Man United. He could have said no because they only took him on loan. Mm-hmm. He could have said, "I want to stay here another year." As I remember, he couldn't wait to get.
He have to go because
from Man United. He fucking hated Man United. Won the European.
We had to get rid of him, Nick, didn't we? Didn't we have to get rid of him because of the legal?
No, we didn't have to get rid of no one, mate. He could have stayed there for.
Yeah, we had to pay more money for him
because of the third party ownership.
Yeah.
We tried to kick him out the door quick, so Sheffield United didn't find any more notes or anything. But I mean, talking about obviously the old guard and that. I mean, Mark Noble tonight, 500 of appearance for West Ham. I said last night, it's amazing that in this day and age that a player plays 500 games for a club, and it's not only for us, it's for his boyhood club. He's the club that he supports. I mean, we'd give anything for any of us just to play one game, 1 minute for West Ham. Boy's done it 500 times, and he joins an elite club of. There's only 10 players that have played more than 500 games. You look at the amount of players that have played for West Ham in our history, and he's up there. You know, me and Dan was talking off camera before, and it's mad to think that he's been in the first team 16 years. It's 500 appearances, but he's still 300 behind Billy Bonds. You know, it's crazy to think that. But no, he joins an elite list of West Ham players, and I'm so happy for him. You know, he's a local lad. You know, as he said, he loves the club, and I know, you know, people give him a bit of stick sometimes. I know he's not the greatest player in the world, but you know me, from day one, I've always loved Mark Noble, and I always will, because for me, watching him, he's like a fan on the pitch. It's like watching yourself on the pitch, you know. And Scott said after, you know, it's his 500 appearance tonight. We just won 3-1. He ain't happy. He loves the club, and I can definitely see him moving into the coaching role, and he will definitely be a future manager for West Ham.
They asked him about that tonight as well. And he said not at the minute. I think he's one of them people. He loves football, and I think he, you know, lives and breathes it. And he's one of them that if we don't play well or we lose, he probably dwells on it for a good couple of days.
Oh yeah, he loses sleep.
And you imagine him being like that as a manager.
Oh mate, that would definitely go. That last few strides there would be. If you look at me.
I think stopping him at the minute. But
I'm always nervy about, you know, ex-players and favourite players, you know, that we love becoming managers, because you don't want that when things go wrong. You know, it really goes sour with managers and people just turn. That's why, you know, as much as I'd love to see Di Canio, you know, if all the fans sort of turned on Di Canio and turned on Noble, and, you know, like Billy Bonds got a lot of stick as manager.
And sad, and I'd hate to see that. That's the only hesitation. As much as romantic as it is, I have that hesitation.
It's gonna be a sad day when Noble actually retires from West Ham, because I think a lot of people won't appreciate him as much until he's actually retired, because you'll lose a lot from that dressing room. I know. Look, I'd love to see Mark Noble as a youngster running around the pitch now. He's 34. It's tough. He's played a lot of football. You look at his stats from when he first broke into the team back in 2006, 2007. Every season he's played over 30 odd games. Every season he's consistent. Every season, and he's as everyone said, he's a dying breed. And as much as I love Declan Rice, we probably know Declan Rice is not going to be here. Declan Rice probably won't see 500 games for West Ham. I don't think you'll ever see that in today's football. A player like that do that again, and it's a great achievement. I wish, obviously, next season, his last season, I'd love to see him win the FA Cup. Just that magic moment. But
that's all that's missing, isn't it, from his career? Let's be honest. When you look at the legends he's around in them appearances. People like you said, Billy Bonds, FA Cup winning player. That's the thing. That's what's missing from his apart from that England cap. And when you look at them two teams out there today, and you sit there and think Noble's never been capped by England, but Tom cleverly has. It just shows what a joke that England setup used to be.
I think it's an easy thing to say. It's what a lot of players have missed through their whole career, like Dixie. Dixie deserved to win a trophy, but it's been 40 years. COYI, McAvenny, they deserve to win trophies.
But the thing is, mate, even when you say about Julian Dix and that, I mean, sometimes these players, it's not about trophies for them. Being a legend for West Ham and being loved by the fans, that means more. I know players want to look back on medals and all that, but sometimes I just think that means a lot more to these sort of players, especially someone like Mark Noble. Nick, me and you were from the same areas, we grew up in the same surroundings. Imagine me and you sitting here now saying we've played 500 games for West Ham. And he does that, and his family supports West Ham, so it means everything to him. And I
remember him. I remember him as a youngster. He's only a few years younger than me, but when I was sort of 14 knocking around here, I remember him used to play in over Hermit Park.
Yeah,
to play back near the arc in the park.
Yeah,
he used to live around that way somewhere, and
that's it. That's the thing. It's just a shame that he could end up retiring from football and not having a trophy like that. For me, that's the one thing that's just missing from.
But you know what, mate?
There's always next season.
He will never have to buy a ticket at West Ham for the rest of his life. He'll always be welcome at the club, no matter what. I'm not saying that. Yeah, our owner to probably make him guess.
I won't fucking back your bottom dollar on that.
No, but players like that, they're living legends. You know what I mean?
What you should do? This is the God's honest truth. If I was Mark Noble, do you know what I'd do? And they are, so because he lives and breathes the club, he should take a year out, enjoy his family, whatever, maybe 2. And then come back and make sure that he's welcome back, and make sure that once he comes back as a coach or a manager, or whatever he wants to do, even if it's an ambassador, something, just come back into football. I know he loves football and all of that sort of thing, but let him enjoy your life for a couple of years, give yourself a little rest, and then you'll find
a break from it all.
I don't think he's that sort of person. I think he loves football too much. I think he'd miss it. It'll
be a sad day when he retires.
Of course it will. And do you know what? I understand. I criticise Noble sometimes when he's had a bad game, but I just hate the fans that are constantly digging him out all the time, because they're the same fans that think, "Oh, we should be the West Ham way. We should be bringing through our youth." They're looking at a player that first got a chance under Pardew in 2004, played a couple of games, and he's been there through the ups, the downs, the playoff finals. He's been there through thick and thin, and as we said, he's a dying breed of a modern day footballer.
That is it, mate. That is it. Like you said, you're not going to see many players reach 500 appearances for their club.
I'll tell you, I'm browsing the comments as we're talking. I know we don't normally think it, but there's a geezer come up. Who are these people to comment Matt, you clicked on my page. I didn't click on your page. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Who are these people? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who am I?
Let's have a look.
Was Edith Swift's in there?
What?
Oh, that was Where Are You? She said. Never mind. Go on, Nick.
Let's forget about the game. Safe now in the Premier League. There's a few other things to talk about. Right. First things first. The kit. What do you think of the kit?
What the away one, obviously. Do you know what? Me and Dan was talking before we come on, and we both agreed, and I think you said it as well. It looked better with a white sponsor, or even if maybe not even a white sponsor, maybe a sort of lighter blue. You know, just to. But I think the hoops are too high up, and Dan was saying I didn't realise. I thought they went all the way round, but they don't. Apparently, they stop.
Like,
so it's one of them kits that maybe if you see it in the club shop, you might look at it a bit different. But yeah, it's not.
Do you think because they pump them out so often now, like on a regular basis, there's a lack of real effort?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the. I'm looking forward to seeing the third kit, the black and gold.
Black and gold, yeah, black and gold.
Which sounds really nice. That could be like a shirt that you wear, you know, your jeans, your trainers down the pub. One of them sort of tops.
Yeah. That's it. I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, you know, they really sort of get a bit creative with that one. But yeah, it's just a little bit lacking. Like I've been wanting to see us bring the hoops back for years. So there is things about it I like, but I just think the execution. A lot of people were saying that we should have had our regular badge on it, but I think it looks too cartoony.
I'll be honest. I think that the away one looks better without a sponsor.
Oh yeah,
I actually think it does look better without a sponsor, and I'm always one that I think old shirts look better with sponsors. They look too plain, but where you've got the hoop down there, it makes it look like that's where the sponsor should be. So it breaks it up a bit. So
listen, the thing is, I think you've got it, you know, now on the head really, Dan. I think over the Premier League era with the way they changed the kits and all that, there's only so many designs you can come. The hoops, I love the hooped kits. I love them. You know, I love the Centenary one. I love the Pony one the year before that. I wasn't too keen on the Macron one. I loved the Fila one. I'm a big fan of that design. When I think about West Ham away kits, that's what I think about. And so when Dan sent over the picture, I looked at it. I thought, that's lovely. That's beautiful. That's a lovely kit. It's sort of, you know, but the more I looked at it, and it's normally the opposite way round. The more I looked at it, the more I started to think, hold on a minute.
It's a bit like when you first went to the London Stadium. Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah. A couple of games later, you start picking out things.
Things started to sort of like, I thought to myself, like, the stripes are too far apart. And the thing that annoys me is that they're so far apart just to fit in the sponsor. And it's obviously like just to put a space where the sponsor goes and all of that sort of thing. And what are you doing?
I was just showing people so they get a bit of context of what we're...
And then this like badge here, right? That starts to annoy me because it's the same colour.
Tell you what, it actually looks quite good on Antonio, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you know, like the stripe, and the badge just goes a little bit out on the top, but a lot out on the bottom. And the more I looked at it, I thought like they could have done. And I'll be honest with you, I saw a design two very similar kits that someone mocked up, and they were better than these. And these are meant to be proper designers. The badge annoys me because it's so aesthetically, it just doesn't seem to fit. It's just like the stripe.
It looks like it's been stuck on the badge, I think.
Yeah, make the stripe a little bit thicker so the badge covers it. It covers where the badge I don't know. It's just that more I looked at it, and then obviously when I see someone like to the side, it doesn't go all the way round and all like. Something it just the more
look, you can see in the right armpit. Look, you can see where it stops, and it's just stops. Yeah.
The problem is as well is they don't when they design these kits. Obviously, they're designed to fit footballers who are athletes. And
look, trust me, see that bottom stripe there.
That's what I mean.
That is going to be a lot fucking thicker than that when I'm putting one on, mate. I'll tell you that for fucking free.
That's the thing. It's not designed for us average blokes, you know, who've got a bit of a belly. And
there was here we go. There was Canning Town Len done that, didn't he?
That's when you got to get one of them things that you wear underneath to tuck your gut in.
Girdle.
Yeah, but
That's
yeah,
priceless.
it's one of them ones, isn't it? It's it might be better when you see it up close in person, but I'm looking forward to the black and gold third kit. I think that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
They probably fuck it up somehow. Probably put pink sponsor on it or something.
I think the one you've got on, Ryan, is probably our best away kit in a long time.
See, the thing with that one is that one is just it's simple. Do you know what I mean? It's just plain. It does look like a football shirt. Yeah, that's the part we're saying. You could go out, you could wear it out if you wanted to, but it's just plain simple, and they've not tried to get too technical with it.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it. Look, we could sit here fucking waffling all night about fucking kits, I'm sure, but at the end of the day, if you're not going to buy one, don't buy one. As simple as that.
The most important thing is they'll have the Premier League badge on them next season. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Well, another thing, mate, is looks like might be going to Ellen Road next season. Leeds obviously got promoted today. First time since I didn't realise they'd been out that long. 2004.
All depends, mate. All depends when it is, because the next item on the agenda is they're going to start letting 40% of fans back in the stadiums in October if it all goes well. Listen, there's no if it all goes well. They're letting them people back in that stadium because that fucking Premier League has started coating the backs of them fucking politicians saying, come on now. You know what I mean? Believe me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this for free. Yeah. I will not be handing over a penny to them cunts. If they start asking me next week about, you need to start getting this in for next season, I'm not handing over a penny, because 40% football, it's all or nothing with football. I don't want to be going to a stadium standing on my own with no one within 3 seats of me.
The problem is how can you determine the 40% that get to go?
That's it. They're going to do a ballot or what?
Well, this is the thing. I'm sure with our season tickets, we've got more than 40% of the stadium is season ticket holders.
It's nearly 100%. It's about 95%.
So what you're going to turn around and say to people, right? Okay, what you're going to do? You've got to buy a season ticket and then enter a ballot, and you'll get a chance. You might get to go. You might not. Don't think so. You're not going to pump with the money until you're actually going to.
That's a gamble.
At 40% football, in October. This is in October now. They've determined that the Premier League's going to start in September, I think. So we've got a little under 2 months. At 40%, there is no way they're going to squeeze any more money than I've already left with them over the last season ticket, because I'm not paying to go into a lottery. I don't care about loyalty points, and even if that, I don't want to go into a season where I'm standing on my own, because it's hard enough. I mean, why? Let's
see. I thought you'd have liked that, Nick, because you hate people around you anyway.
Specific people around him.
Down to a 3,000 seat away game, turning up with 1,200, and you've got to sit apart.
Yeah, but that's
I don't think they'll do away fans. Games.
I don't think there'll be any away fans, because what happens if you get to a situation like you've got in Leicester at the moment, where Leicester's still in a lockdown? So you're going to get to a game and there's Leicester fans that think they're going to be travelling. Oh, we're in lockdown, we can't go. And then
them fans from travelling, you can't.
Well, no, but that's it. But this is the thing. It's not been thought out properly. It's just desperation to get people. I don't understand.
Because the Premier League are fucking stroking the backs of them politicians, putting pressure on them, saying, "Come on, we've got to get people back in. We're going to start collapsing. You're going to have to prop us up if we don't," and all that bollocks. All or nothing for fans. That's it. If everyone ain't allowed in, I'm not going in.
Yeah, I mean, if they said all right, 40% for the first 5 games, and then after 5 games they up it, and then they've got to obviously try to ease us back into football. You can't just put 60,000 people in a stadium. But I'm with you. It's you got to get it right. You got to get it right.
That's the thing. Like people telling me the other day, like, it's a lie, this virus and all that. Tell that to people that I know that have died.
Yeah, it's not. I don't get all that when people say this ain't real and all that. They're just talking
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, they watch too much fucking conspiracy theory programs and shit like that. And if they really believe that there's pigeons with batteries in them flying around spying on us, then they need to be put in a nutty home or something like that.
But yeah. Nicky's right. You go to football not just to watch your team, but for the atmosphere, for that feeling of going there and the camaraderie. You're going to stand there.
It's meeting up with your mates in the pub before and after. You know, it's seeing people in the ground and having a beer at half time before the game. And
you don't want to be isolated. What's the point? You might as well watch it in your living room.
Listen, explain to me what the difference is in sending 40% of the crowd in to 100% of the crowd in.
Disease, disease.
But there's not. You're saying that 40%, if they catch it, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you're going to send 40% in, there's still 40% of a population of people going somewhere that will catch something. Will catch this.
The thing is, you've got to look at the impact on public transport as well, though, Scott, because the more people you have travelling on the public transport, mixing with people that aren't just match day fans.
Yeah, but what I mean? Listen, they're coming out next Friday saying you've got to wear a mask to go in a shop. Yeah. But they're then telling you can go and play sports together. I'm going to spend more time if I was playing football standing next to other people playing football than I am in a shop. So why have I got to wear a mask in a shop but not wear a mask playing football?
Well, it's stupid because this stuff should have been done at the start of the bloody lot. That's what I'm saying. They're doing all these you're
better off just saying, right, you know, you can go back in football, but everyone's got to wear a mask. Yeah. There's no point sending 40% of people in somewhere because you can't have football like we said with 40% of the fans. It's ridiculous. At the end of the day, make a decision. Either turn around and say no one's going back in until the virus is gone, and then now they're saying this virus ain't going to be gone. So right, it's compulsory. Everyone has to wear a mask.
The thing is, the ironic thing is, and I make a bit of a joke of it, is where I grew up, mate. They was trying to make people take the masks off. When they walk into the shops, not put them on.
Yeah, you walked in the shop with a mask around Canning Town, you get nicked.
You get a shotgun stuck in your baseball.
I'm not interested. I'm just not really interested in going to football for the sake of going to it if it's not going to be the experience that I enjoy. You know what I mean? Like it's not. That's not why we go. So let's see what they come out with.
Let's be honest, if they stick 40, if they let 40% of fans back in, it's going to be another way of controlling the fans to make sure that they sit in their seats, they don't cause a ruckus. You can't have the bars open, you can't have the catering open because you can't have people queuing. You know, you're going to have people going outside.
That ain't going to bother the owners because we don't pay for the catering anyway, do we? Yeah. But you'll have David Gold and Sullivan going around with a little sandwich van.
Yeah, I miss going to football. I want to go back. You know, there's that. You know, when you see the likes of that Chelsea game tonight, they would have been games that you want to be there, and you know we all miss that. But I just don't see the point going there. And I'm sitting in one seat. Dan, who normally sits directly in front of me, has got to sit 5 seats over there away from me, and then the next person's another 5 seats over there. It's pointless.
Let's just see what happens and what they come out with over the next couple of months. I don't think they're going to rush anything.
Like I've got no problem about wearing masks and all that bollocks. Apart from last week when I started talking about farts, which I still think rings true. Like, but this gee's saying, you wear a mask in a shop because you're in contact with a shopkeeper. I don't know what sort of relationship you have with your shopkeeper, but he ain't fucking kissing me, mate. The only contact I have with my hands, and that a mask ain't going to fucking stop you from passing it with your hands.
Yeah, you know, let's just see what happens over the next couple of months. As I said, like we did, to be honest, we probably all didn't think that there was going to be this many Premier League games played. You know, there's a week left now. I think they've done really well to get the games back, and I think we're all starting to get a bit used to it. That's the worrying thing for me is that I'm going to get so used to not going that I'm not going to want to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, like I said, I think as long as it's not how it used to be, I'm not really interested in going. But could you imagine, like, when it's back to normal, right? You go there, 60,000 fans, first game of the season, how much of a buzz that would be if it was like that? It'd be amazing. But we're not going to see that for a while.
Imagine being the first bloke to cough or sneeze in that crowd.
Yeah, you get your
imagine. Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? It'd be like the first season at the London Stadium where everyone was having a ruck, but this time instead of the football, it's over the coughing and sneezing.
Oh, Scott, I've got something for you tonight, mate.
Go on.
Yeah, here's your 3 points. 3 points. Come, let's be a bit more happy. Let's fuck the coronavirus, fuck all that. We've won the game. We're virtually safe now.
Yeah, no, that's it.
12 goals in 4 games, is it now?
Yeah, well, I'm actually enjoying watching West Ham at the moment. I think we're playing some decent football. You can look at the Burnley result, and I know we lost at home, but I thought we played all right in that game. We just couldn't find the back of the net.
It's 12 and 5, isn't it?
Yeah, Pope was in.
Done by VAR as well. One of their players should have got a red for that challenge on
Pope was unreal that day. Newcastle, it was a great point. We played well. It's only the first 2 games, Wolves and Tottenham, that I think we've been really poor.
Yeah, that's it, and that's the thing. And Dan, was when you said earlier about seeing Moyes' attacking style, we've been a bit more attacking over the last couple of games. So this could be sort of a little taster of what we can do forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, potentially. Like I said, with more signings, the right signings, and swapping them out for his players. Yeah, I mean, like I said, look, none of us wanted him, but if he's here, let's give him a season and see how it goes.
Before we go, then, who do you reckon's going to go?
What players?
No, go down. Who's going to get relegated?
Oh, the Villa, Bournemouth, and Norwich. Well, Norwich are down, but yeah.
I think Watford. I look at their last 2 games, City and Arsenal. City, sorry, and I worry for them. I do.
Because they still got the 3-point lead, obviously, but instead of who?
I can see Bournemouth getting a result.
Yeah.
Bournemouth
have got, is it
Southampton
and Everton?
Yeah.
I think Bournemouth will beat Everton for sure.
Yeah.
The Southampton game is a derby.
Yeah, that's the sticking point for them.
So, to be fair, I couldn't give a shit really as long as we're safe.
But we've still got to play Villa.
Yeah.
It depends.
Could you imagine the pressure on Aston Villa last game of the season when we're safe? We'd just be doing knocking it about.
Do some Olays on them.
Just like Jack Grealish comes running in and they just boot the ball round.
I can't stand him. I absolutely can't stand him. I would love to watch him cry at the end of the season and see him there with his floppy.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's going to cry, but he'll be the real winner because he'll move to a bigger team next season on a lot more money, probably. Jack Grealish.
He's quid.
Europa League. I don't think he's as good as. I don't think he's top challenge for the title challenging team level. Grealish.
He needs to cut the diving out of his game. That's ruining his.
That was one of the worst dives I've ever seen in my life.
He's good. He's a good player, but I don't think he's as good as Safe.
He's a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah, I don't think he's as good as they build him up to be.
No, I'll tell you what, mate. You put him in a top 6 team, he'll be an England regular without doubt. He is a good player. I do rate him. I do rate Jack Grealish.
He needs to cut, like you said, he needs to cut the diving out. Because that was embarrassing what he did the other day.
Oh, one of the worst dives ever.
At the end of the day, Scott, you say it's embarrassing and all that, and I do agree. But I think in your perilous position, I'd probably fucking chuck myself on the floor as well and worry about it after.
Yeah, no.
I'm surprised that these players dive as much now with VAR around. I just don't get it. You can't get away with it no more. So what's the point?
Yeah, balls and things that VAR's been given. Anything's fucking fair game.
Do you know what? I was fully expecting VAR to pull up a Bonner on it for an handball. When that one where his arms wide, he doesn't move it out. It's literally in the natural position.
Yeah, well, that's
I go penalty.
Well, yeah, because they overruled that Sacco goal for Palace when it hit him right there. He scored it there on his shoulder, Sacco for Palace, and it was a similar place where it hit Ogbonna. You can just see him giving it, but the fact that Grealish didn't get a retrospective ban, but Lanzini did. Since Lanzini and Igalo, I think it was for Everton, no player has, I don't think, got a retrospective ban for diving.
I think Nicky said it about. Or someone said it to Nicky in one of the comments. Sorry, I got bloody mosquitoes flying about. That it didn't lead to a goal, so that's why he wasn't done. It led to a goal.
That's fucking stupid because you're still cheating. It's
not the rule.
Yeah,
it's not the rule. That's not the rule. Lanzini didn't get done for deceiving the ref that led to a goal. He got done for deceiving the ref. That's what was doing. He was trying to deceive the ref. It's the same rule, whether it leads to a goal. Somebody said to me, "Oh, it's because it was a penalty that led to a goal." And I said, "Well, this was a penalty. It was only the fact that they had to look at it on the fucking video that it wasn't a penalty. They haven't banned anyone for that for a few years.
No.
As soon as the big boys started chucking themselves on the floor, they conveniently started whining their neck in about it.
Exactly. Just West Ham and Everton, I think, have only one who suffered for it. It's just what I'm saying. The whole league, it's a joke. But looking at West Ham and Villa, I want us to go out and them to give the fans a great performance, safe or not safe. Is just go out and because we deserve it. It's been a hard season.
I think we can go to Old Trafford on Wednesday, and a bit of pressure off of us now. And Man United let you play football, so we've got the players that can, we can give Man United a good game. They're chasing top four.
They were lucky. They were very lucky to get a result against Palace because Palace should have had a penalty.
I watched them against Southampton, Dan, and Southampton got a draw there. So there's no reason why we can't go there and get something.
It's not. I think we've got a decent record. I think our style conflicts Man United's. I think it just trumps it as our style of play and all that. I don't think they like the physical players like Antonio and players like that.
They don't like it up.
It's a game where I think they'll give you more room to play. They won't be so focused on sort of closing it down. So it's a game where Anderson could play and do well. He's done well against them previously, I think.
Yeah. Be good.
Remember the game at Old Trafford last year when he had that goal disallowed. I think there's a couple of changes to be made, but honestly, I'd love nothing more to fucking beat them. To be quite honest, with you,
it'd be nice to end the season if we can get something at Old Trafford and win at home last game of the season against Villa, and end the season on. I don't want to say it will be a sort of high because what we've been used to this season, winning the last 3 games or having a good run towards the end of the season. Dragging ourselves away from relegation. I mean, what can we finish on? Maximum 43 points in it. We're 37 now. So 43 points. Bearing in mind before lockdown, what was we on? 20, 25 points when we were something like that.
20, 25, 26, something like that.
Yeah. When we started lockdown, we were sitting there saying we can't see where 3 wins are coming from, and
it just goes to show you in football, isn't it? How quickly things can turn around and change. In 1 minute you're here, the next minute you're there. I'm
with you, right? I think we can go to United and get a result. There's nothing stopping us.
Longest PMP in history, starting on a Friday, finishing on a Saturday. It's worth it though. It's worth it though. We ain't had many. Smiling PMPs, can I say? I mean, it's been a good
stay for it.
But we've got 2 more. We've got 2 more to go. Let's hope that we'll be smiling on both of them. We'll be a Premier League team. Hopefully. I mean, what's the plans for Villa, Scott? Are we having a little barbecue?
Yeah, I'm going to be working.
Well, you ain't got to be there. We'll just come round your house. You ain't got to be there.
Drop the keys off to Ryan.
I was going to say, if I end up working, possibly we could meet up and do a end of season review thing, barbecue.
Day off, you prick.
It's money, bruv. It's money, bruv.
It's a job that's come up that I can't get out of.
Turn down.
Oh yeah, Scott. All right.
Offer you can't
run them ones, is it?
So yeah, it's not at the moment. It's penciled in, but I think it's going to be a definite. But I'll let you know.
You can always rub pencil out, mate. Remember that.
Well, because I'm going to run out of battery any second. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Postman. Go and check out our Patreon and all our t-shirts and links in the description down below. Thank you very much. I'm talking like the season's over. I was just about to say thank you very much for this season, but it's not over. We've still got a couple more, but we are into the last week of it. So please, we do thank you all for joining us this season. I know it's been a fucking strange one. It's the longest fucking season in history, and I think the lockdown and all that sort of stuff has given us a bit of a chance to recharge our batteries, because these seasons normally they do take their toll on us, with the travelling and all that sort of thing. I've quite enjoyed being at home, weirdly, but then I've What the fuck's happening?
You put that up. What's going on?
You know what it is, because my battery's running out. I think the computer's freaking out.
I have like that, Nicky. Come on.
Also, missed everything about the football. Meeting fans is the thing that we do the most here. It's been a long season, but let's be honest, we're all relieved that it's over, to be quite honest with you, and we're safe. So thank you very much for joining us here. Anything left to say? Anyone else?
No, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. No, as Nicky just said, like, it's been as long as we're safe, everyone's safe. It's been a weird season. It's one that we'll never ever forget. I think this season will be talked about for years to come. But yeah, what are you laughing
That
at?
woke me up. You and your bloody mic.
No.
It's like this. It's like that's what it's like, but really loud.
Yeah, it's for the people at the back that can't hear.
Do you know what? You need to go back, right? 1 minute, 1 hour, 10 minutes, then you'll be able to hear what it sounds like. I'm going to send you a link to this, and you've got to listen to it back.
But Ben, yours does it as well.
Everyone's does it. Everyone fades out. Maybe it's because I got the volume up a bit too much.
I think it's this. Yeah, basically, it's an automatic gain thing. So whenever there's like a little bit quiet, it just compensates. So we'll look into that, guys. Unless you like it, we'll keep.
We'll have a Zoom meeting on it.
All right. We've got to go now. One thing left to say, lads.
Come on,